Hi everyone, happy Friday, and here we are with my completed pages for May, and it has been a pretty productive month. I didn't hit like an all-time high or even really my average number of pages per month, but what I really did was quite a few non-color by number pages this month, which kind of still balances it out because obviously I spend more time on those pages. So it's just been an interesting month, I guess. Excuse me. So before we get started, I did want to show you, I still have whips. Of course, I meant to get to these. I meant to get to so many books this month. This was like a really fun month for me for the color along and stuff. And there just were some books many books I just couldn't get to because I ran out of time. But I have 3 whips that I'm currently working on. Next month will be a great month to finish them because they all tie in with the color along. Teresa Goodridge, Country Charm. I'm working on this page using just the May Lang Pretty Excellent watercolors. Started this a while back. I did treat this with satin glazing liquid before I started. Started that a while back, have not gotten back to it. Oh boy, now I need a place to put the stuff. This one y'all might recognize from last fall. I'm using the Artiso Real Brush pens, and I've made no progress on this either. It's a cute page, but like the watercolor page, they're pretty pages, but they're just not keeping my interest, I guess. I don't know how else to put it. So hopefully this next month I can finish these up, and this one's not treated or anything. I'm just blending with the Real Brush pens. They do really well on Creative Haven paper, I found. And finally, my new whip to add to the collection this month is from Cat Coloring and Therapy by Grace J. I did start this one. I will put a card up in the right to where I did the watercolor background for this. And so we got started until the page did get a little wrinkly on the opposite side, but this is the watercolor layer, again using those Pretty Excellent watercolors, and my plan was to add pencil to this, and I just haven't got to it yet. So again, June hopefully will be a good month to do that. So, alright, those are the current whips I'm working on. I'm sure there are whips in my other books, but at this point I've either forgotten about them or they're abandoned. So, those are the 3 that I do want to finish for sure. It's just one of these days we'll get to it. Alright, so a few stats for the month. Pardon my horrible handwriting. Usually I've been trying to do this at the beginning every month, so hopefully at the end of June I can kind of do a half-year roundup is the plan. So I tackled 21 pages this month in 17 unique books. 5 of those pages were from my 10 books to finish, a pretty solid effort there, though I wish I'd gotten more. I'm not doing well in my 10 books to finish, let me tell you. I think I finished 4 or 5 last year, and I really would like to, I was hoping to finish more than that this year, but it's not looking good. 7 of those were color by number, the rest were non-color by number. And then I end up listing all the different mediums I used, because for me it's neat to see the variety based on like what my moods are for the month. Am I using more of a certain type of medium, you know, over a certain amount of months and stuff? Just I don't know, I find that interesting. Plus that's a good checklist for me to make sure I'm actually using a variety, and I just realized I forgot one. There we go. So this month I actually did really well using a variety of mediums. The only thing I didn't really get to were my shimmer paints, acrylic paints, which I love. I just didn't have an opportunity really to use those this month, so hopefully I can incorporate those next month. And my watercolor brush pens. So, but overall, I did try out the new Pitt pastel pencils I got, which I'll show you in comparison to the Derwent pastel pencils, which I used, which I've had for a few months. Alcohol markers, watercolors, glitter watercolors from Paul Rubin, glitter, metallic, whatever you, shimmer, whatever they're called. Stickles, Arteza pencils, Arteza glitter gel pens. These get heavy, heavy use. Like, you think my alcohol markers go through a lot? Like, I'm probably going to have to order another set of these soon because I use these in like everything. I absolutely adore these. These have really taken over as my favorite gel pens for sure. Ohuhu water-based markers, white gel pen, glossy accents, gelatos, and pan pastel. So like I said, overall I do like doing that list because I can see that, hey, you know, I do keep buying stuff and I need to knock it off. However, what I am buying I am using. So alright, let's get started. Typically, I split up my completed pages. I'll do all the non-color by numbers first. I'm going to save the big finish for the month at the very end of that section. Then we do the kind of middle color by numbers like George Tufexis and Hatchet Heroes that are kind of complex color by numbers, I guess more, I don't know, kind of in the middle ground. Then I cover just regular color by number books at the end. So. Alright, these are in no particular order. I did this one over the weekend. My friend Tammy had asked me about the Paul Rubin Shimmer Glitter, whatever they're called. Paul Rubin Shimmer Watercolors. I have the 48 set or the 36, I can't remember. Anyway, she had asked me how I liked them. I hadn't used them very much. I really wanted to color this page from Hannah Lynn's Patreon. This is the bonus page each month that she provides. And so I printed this out on just a basic medium weight cardstock that I use and did the whole page in them. Actually, look at that shine. Just for fun. And I like how it turned out. I think it actually looks really cool. I would say I ran into some issues because even though I was, you know, prepping the pans with water and stuff, like it was really hard to pull a lot of paint out of the pans. I frequently, because I was mixing a lot of these colors, I was frequently having to remix and remix over and over again. Covering wide, big spaces with these colors can take a little bit of time. Maybe I wasn't being aggressive enough, but I don't really have that problem with typical watercolor paints. So just something to keep in mind. And the mixing did pretty well. Now, one thing to note with these, with this kind of shimmer look to these, you're going to get a more muted color, as you can see. So her hair is supposed to be red, and it is, but it's a muted red. The palette I had picked really was more of a vibrant red, and then this was more of like a magenta, and I got more of like a wine red, and then a very, very light red. Even the blue, you can tell, is not super vibrant. So I think these are great for more muted color palettes. Maybe if you're not looking for, you know, super bright, vibrant colors, you're not really going to find those in these types of paints. And like I said, coverage over super large areas can be a bit daunting. Again, it could be this type of paper because I feel like I used one of the colors on a Deborah Muller page for the background and I didn't have as much trouble. However, it could be that I was trying to get a good solid initial layer of color so that it wouldn't look streaky, and maybe that's where the problem came in. It could just be this cardstock was soaking up a lot of water because I was just frequently having to pull more and more. it looks really good. I was super pleased with it when it was done. And I did come in with my Arteza gel pens and do some outlining. I'm really liking coming in with the gel pens and outlining even over the black line art, just to give it a little bit extra of a, just a little bit extra of a look, I guess, a little bit extra, so to speak. And I really like that effect. Plus that makes the hair look, I guess, more red than kind of off red, if that makes any sense. So turned out really pretty. I actually really, this was really relaxing. I enjoyed this. Wasn't worrying too much other than blending colors, you know, in terms of trying to layer or do any sort of techniques. This was just a straight color, so to speak. The mixing the colors was the biggest headache. So I do like them overall. So if anybody else is curious, however, like I said, I would use them more as accent colors. I don't know how much luck I would have in a background page, especially a thicker paper like Hannah Carl's on. I would really have to test that. Something tells me that I would probably end up using over half the pan on a background, and maybe we test that. So test that at some point. All right. 50 Jungle Miniatures is part of my 10 books to finish. I am fighting the good fight. I am trying my best, and I'm doing a few pictures a month, but I really don't think, unless I start doing 6 pictures a month out of this, this is going to be done by the end of the year. Things could change. I don't know. I might, but I did do 2 in here this month, and I was very pleased about that. This is actually, I think, my favorite of the Camellia Angelkova books. So we did this one, which was super fun. And so, like, I'm really enjoying, when I first started in this book, I was doing more of the freeform backgrounds. Ooh, that page got all bent up. That's a shame. I was doing more of these freeform backgrounds like this, which I'll probably use some of those too at some point, but I've started, and then I had that whole page there. In the Camellia Angelkova books in the last few months, however, I've just been doing an outline of a color to give just a peek, like an indication of a background. And I've actually really been enjoying that. That obviously saves my markers quite a bit, and it still gives me a little bit of the effect that I'm looking for. So this was really fun. I didn't have any particular color palette in mind when I started, and it just kind of turned into this. The one thing I really hopped onto right in the middle was that using my fluorescent spree markers on the flowers, and the snake is my favorite with the different fluorescent colored markers. I think he looks super stellar. And yeah, just had a lot of fun with this page. Just like I said, wasn't too serious about any of it, and it turned out pretty darn good. Now this I technically did before the other page, but you know. These are some frogs. So my friend Haley over at Coloring with Haley has been doing a Camellia Angelkova color along in May called Minis in May. And she also really likes frogs. So I wanted to do this picture. And again, really enjoying that hint of a background. With my markers, I'm really enjoying doing a dark outline with a darker color or a layer of the same color and then keeping the inside lighter. I just am really digging that look lately. So that may change in the future, but for now that's just really my jam. And I've been in the mood to use my markers more. So some white gel pen in here. I did use a little bit of the Arteza glitter gel pens for the little flies, so they're different colors. I thought that, honestly, they're my favorite. I think they're really cute. And the frogs have glossy accents on their eyes. So, super cute. I really need to get in gear with this one. Alright, so I mentioned, wait a minute, let me find the other one. Where'd you go? I mentioned using my pastel pencils in books this month, and I kind of just wanted to show you how each of them looked. I used a similar type of paper and page for them. So we'll look at the Derwent pastel pencils first. This is Matchstick Mouse, a summer coloring book by Morgan O'Brien. I did the very first picture in here with a marker base and a Derwent pastel pencil overlay. And you guys really enjoyed this one on Instagram. This one got quite a few likes. As it should. It's adorable. I have concluded. I've written down, like scratched down the colors, marker colors, and pastel colors I used for him. I'm going to try to consistently color him the same through the book, however change the color of his hat just to make things a little bit different. But this turned out super cute. I thought the pastels did real well. Again, I'm here recently seems to be more drawn to these types of pictures, where these smaller pictures I can tackle in, you know, an hour or so. They've been kind of my jam lately, these and like the miniatures. So let me show you this one, which I finished up yesterday, the last day of the month. Didn't have a chance to post it on Instagram. This is The Way Home by Morgan O'Brien. And I did one in here of our favorite little green guy. And here he is. Now, again, marker base. This time I used the Faber-Castell Pitt pastel pencils, which is a 60 set as opposed to the 72. And he turned out super cute with his little cat bird. It's kind of what that thing looks like to me. And this is one I grabbed some inspiration from a palette for the initial colors in the foreground, because I was looking something to go with that green, and then just did a bunch of neutrals for the background. And I think it's a really nicely balanced picture. I'm quite pleased with it. Same thing with him. I did write down what colors I used, because with him, of course, he's a brighter green than he is in the show. However, I feel like that show always washes out all the colors of the various creatures and stuff, so I like making him bright and vibrant, and I think I will keep him consistent through this. Either that or I will change the color of his outfit. I haven't decided yet. And I may do part of it, this outfit, part of it, different colors. So looking at them side by side, they pretty much were the same experience in terms of laydown. I didn't feel like one had any better laydown than the other. I will say that the Derwent, of course, you get 12 more choices of color. The Pitt pastels tend to have, you know, they did better with like the neutral colors in the background. I struggled a little bit with the, you know, bright colors. They only have a limited number of pencils per color. So, you know, you may be using a lot more grays like I did with the catbird here. You may be using a lot more grays than you and blacks than you necessarily would like darker versions of the color with the Pitt pastels. However, they both lay down about the same, and I like them both a lot. And I didn't even have to sharpen the Pitt pastels. That is one thing. When they lay down, there's no breakage. There's no, like, I'm going to burn through the Derwents pretty quickly, but I feel like that's not necessarily Derwent's fault. That is probably the fault of how they were shipped. I think quite a few of them were damaged, and just having to sharpen them down all the way, I'm going to have to replace quite a few of those. But those Pitt pencils, I didn't even have to sharpen them. I could use them right out of the gate, and they gave me, I had plenty to use for this picture. So that's one thing I will say. But again, I'm not going to fault the pencils themselves. I think that's just because now, however, I did order, I was going to say because I ordered from Amazon. However, I ordered the Pitt pastels from Amazon and they were fine. So I don't know. But all right. Oop. Color by number tried to sneak its way in here. Another one I finished yesterday is from Alexandra Franzise's most recent book. Now, as far as I know, all the books this month, by the way, are in line with the color along. So the alphabet color 2022F. They're all in line with it in some way, shape, or form. I think it was just been fantasy for the majority of them. And then, of course, Franzese for this one. This is her latest, Mermaid's Chibi Girls. And I did this one yesterday. So in the middle of the month, one of the birthday things I got that I will have to cover on my next supply haul, because somebody did ask me to give my thoughts on it. I did purchase and download the Sarah Renee Clark Coloring Companion palettes, and I've been using the fire out of those the last 3 or 4 days. I've already used like 4 of the ones in the books, or in the companions, and I am really enjoying. It's making it a lot easier to plan, and so this was one of the palettes. Moving forward, if people want me to, I can start listing which palettes I used. Is it up here? Oh, it should be up here. Where'd it go? There it is. Alright. You'll have to ignore my chicken scratch. I do not have a color printer. And so for right now, I'm just having to write them down on a piece of paper. I'm going to try to take them somewhere to get a color copy of them, so I can use that to take notes. But this was palette number 42 on there, and it's like a confections palette with a lot of bright pinks and yellows and blues and so on. There's a beige in there. Now, a lot of times 4 or 5 colors isn't enough for me, so I'll add 1 or 2. So in this case, the purple is my addition, and that darker turquoise color. So she is marker with some gel pen on her part of her fin and her outfit, a little bit of gel pen in her hair, stickles for her tail. Of course, I had to use the mermaid tail color for her mermaid tail, and the bubbles have glossy accents on them. And the background is a combination of 2 pan pastels, like a light blue and a light green. I can't remember the names of them offhand. Oh, and I used some liquid pearl for the little pearls in the picture. So again, just had a lot of fun with it. Just trying some different things, and haven't got bored yet. 50 Easter Miniatures by Camellia Angelkova. I did quite a few Angelkova pages this month. I did this one, which you guys also seem to really like, on Instagram. What is it with my pages getting all folded right here in the middle? It's weird. This is all marker. There's just a tiny bit of gel pen in the center of the purple flowers. And this is just marker base with a darker outline to create a shaded effect, and then of course my black outline. So the happy little chick on his egg house just really stands out there for me. This is from Tammy Colors 2 and we have a project book we're working through. This is part of my 10 books to finish this year. I need to make sure that was included in my stats. And we did a page together in this one this month. I do plan on probably posting this one tomorrow on Instagram, so hoping I can. So this is Baby Dragons by Jade Summer, and this is the page we decided on. This is, where'd it go? I just had it in my hand. Oh, I popped it back up there, didn't I? This was the very first one I used from the Coloring Companion. This is palette number 374. And this turned out really pretty. Like when I was doing The picture wasn't, it was a cute picture, but it wasn't really wowing me. And then as I started to put the color down, I was kind of like, nah. But then I got done with it, and it actually looks really nice. I guess because I don't particularly go for pinks all that often. And so this is mostly marker, a little bit of gel pen on those flowers, and on the water. And yeah, turned out really nice. Glossy accents on the eyes. The black ink in this one, for some reason when I put the glossy accent down, actually spread into the whites of the eyes. So I had to add in some gel pen to fix that, but I've never had that happen before. So I'm trying to think. We have 2, 3, 4, 5, I think just 5 left. Maybe. 6. I think we just got 6 left. So do one a month, we might actually get this year. That would be cool. Alright. New book to me this month, Dragons with Pets. I had to color in this one. I couldn't resist. I actually went ahead and took inspiration from the main page to color this image. And as I said on Instagram, this is probably one of my favorite pictures of all time, and it was relatively simple to do. It's a good lesson in it doesn't have to be complicated to turn out to be something you love. I just ended up using a real light outline on the purple part of the dragon and the cat, and then for the feathers and the hair, I ended up doing like the rainbow color and just kind of blending with my spree markers, which I really didn't have too much trouble with. And it turned out adorable. I don't know, just all those colors, the rainbow colors, just make me really happy. And so I love how this turned out. I actually would like to play around more with marker blends, I think, in these books. That's kind of what I was leaning towards, is try to do that across the board for a while till maybe I get bored and want to do something else. But I haven't done a lot of blends like that in a while, so might be fun to play with. Hannah Lynn Early Works Grayscale Collection. So last month I had done a marker picture in the really dark grayscale, which was this one, and then at the start of this month I did a version of the light grayscale using the same markers and color palette, which is the, I believe, Bookworm Fairy. And you can really see I added a lot of gel pen to her. She turned out cute. I like this picture okay. However, I think I like the dark grayscale on here a lot better than I like the light. The light, I really felt like I had to add in all this gel pen outline because the line art turns from dark to light, and I just don't like it. It looks washed out to me. So I had to pretty much go over everything with either gel pen or a black pen to really make it pop. So there's that one. And finally, for the non-color by number, the big one, I had no idea how this was going to turn out when I started it, and it's been 4 years almost of having this channel. It's definitely been 4 years since I started coloring, and I would say this is probably in my top 5 of finished pages. So I not only was able to finish it and was happy with it, like I feel like it was one of the better ones I've done over the years. First page, Out of Grains of Gold by any Hannah Carlzon book, but first pictures, of course, Out of Grains of Gold. And here I go, you know, doing fantasy space aliens, and here I go wanting to just go ahead and do the double page spread. So I have two videos on this month. The first one was a demo of trying gelatos as a base in here. We used the gelatos two different ways. I scrubbed it directly on the page and activated it up here, which gives you more of that kind of messy, smudgy look. And then down here I scrubbed it on a palette and pulled it onto the paper like watercolor, and that's how I did the planet surface and the aliens and their ship and everything. And so I prefer the cleaner look of the watercolor, you know, pulling it onto the paper as watercolor. However, there'll be times where I just want to use the gelato, so I feel like there's arguments for both, and both can be done. It's just if you put it directly on this paper, it is really well textured paper. You're gonna have to add a lot of water to it, which I didn't have a problem with on this paper. Thankfully, you can see my other sides look fine, but just keep in mind you will have to add a lot of water to activate it. So gelato base, then I added pencil. I used the iridescence, all the space colors like Galaxy and Odyssey and Nebula and Comet and all of them. I have them listed in the video descriptions. Then I came over with Arteza pencils, which complemented the colors fantastic, especially their outfits, their uniforms there. I think the orange and the rusty orange colors are like my favorite part of this picture. I don't know why. They were colors I came up with kind of that I didn't know how they would do with the rest of these, and it actually worked out really well. I used gel pen on the little flowers and crystals because I just wanted them to sparkle a little bit. And yeah, so super proud of this one. I am really eager to do more Hannah Carls on. In fact, I might try to tackle these, and then I want to do the Summer Nights page using the vintage pastels I got from Tammy, hopefully next month. So yeah, I can do more advanced pages. It's just what really made the difference here is having the gelatos as a base. If I was still trying to shade with pencil, I mean, I wouldn't even be halfway through this after a month on it. It's just, I go that slowly. So that really makes the difference for me. So there you go. All right, now, color by numbers. We'll cover the more popular color by number books at first. I had a buddy color with Wren Kelly out of Spectacular Spring Scenes. We generally do one George Tufex's picture a month, and we did this one, which I thought was bright and fun with the different types of flowers. And I always use my Tau Tree markers for these now. They give me such a bright pop of color. When I was using the Prismacolors and the more expensive markers before, it felt like it looks more washed out, but using the cheaper ones, I don't know why, but I just get such a brighter look. So so there's that one. I also did one that was for flowers, by the way. We had fairy in the previous one. Felines, cats color by number. I've done two in here, and I've neglected it for a long while. Finally came in to do the third picture in this book. This book is a little interesting. It's one of George Tufex's earlier ones, and it's got some pretty bright color palettes on the pages, which I love, don't get me wrong. But it's just a little different than some of his other books. Here is that handsome guy. And I did do one out of my new Disney Hatchet Heroes book. The Felines one, I did end up ordering the Villains one, just because I know that is the only other one that I really want right now, and I ended up getting that through the Lyrica site, I think is what it's called. And that's going to be for me and Disney. Now, if I ever get through one of these books, that means I can get another one. But I think 200 pages is a good start for me. I I need to learn to control myself with color by number page books. So I did the first one in here using Ohuhu water-based brush markers. And it's cute. It's cute. I think it was all right. However, I'm not thrilled about like the background where it's got all these lines and stuff in it. But even that doesn't really bother me. What really bothered me was when I tried to add this light color in, and every time it got even close to the black or the gray, it would smudge. And that just drove me crazy. Drove me crazy. So, I'm thinking I'm going to try maybe pencil for the next picture, and we'll see how that goes. So, looks like there's quite a few browns in here. I've got some Prismacolor I've seen some people use Prismas. I'm either going to try regular Prismas or a combination of Prismas and Prismacolors, because I've got those I need to use as well. And we'll see how this next page goes, and I'll be working on that next month. I did want to do another page in that one this month. I just ran out of time. Part of my 10 books to finish. I've kind of ignored this one for a few months. I did, however, manage to get one. I'm normally not a fan of pink all that much, but I love this type of pink, like just the bright, slap you in the face kind of pink, you know? I do enjoy this picture quite a bit. That with the greens is just really pretty. So, think I figured up I have 14 pages left in this year. If I push, I can probably do it, but it's going to be close. I shouldn't have neglected it all these past few months. And of course, that was flowers. Enchanted World, color by numbers. This was a fantasy picture with some fairies. I love this book. Again, I keep forgetting I have this book, and then I'll find a really neat picture to do in it. And they just turned out super cool. Honestly, should have brought the towel tree markers out for the fairies, because there are some really tiny areas to color on their wings and stuff, so things got a little messy with them, but overall I thought it still turned out really nice. Another 10 books to finish. This actually will probably be the first one I finish. I'm getting there. Color by Colors, Country Life by Kira Shershniva. I did 2 in here this month. Finally brought out my Bic marking, Bic intensity, Bic whatever they're calling them now, and used those. Found that actually this color palette lines up really nicely to most of those colors with just a few exceptions. And did her picture, which of course you have flowers and butterflies flying and a face. And then I did this one last night. I thought this one turned out real cool. We've got our farmer here and some flowers. Again, I think I have less than 10 pages left in here. So I was thinking, you know, I was moving through it so much to start. I thought it was going to be the first one I finish, and it probably still will be, but it's going to be longer than I thought. Easter Ceramic Tiles, color by number, Prachi Dewan Sachdiva. I did do a flower based one in here for the color along this month. I do really enjoy the colors in this. I know she just came out with a desserts one, but again, I'm trying to work my way through one before I get another one at this point. So, but I do love the color combinations in this one. It does have a real pastel feel to it, and while I'm typically not one to color that on my own accord, I do enjoy those palettes. And finally, from Sachin Sachdeva, Stained Glass Wildlife, I did do the fox picture in here. It's the color by number. I just about forgotten this one. Oh, I did forget a page. I have to go get a book here in a minute, because there's one more. Here is the handsome little fox, who turned out very nice. And let me pause this so I can go get the other book. Alright, so we have Stylish Animals by Belba Family, which, depending on how my 10 books to finish situation might look, we might be doing a swap out with this one and another one. Because I'm enjoying this book a lot and working pretty steadily through it. Was it just the one this month? I think it was just the one. I can't remember. I'll show you both of them, but we're just going to count the one. So I've got Mr. Pig Man in the plaid here, with suspicious looking leaves around him. I don't know what that's about. And then I think I did this one last month, but I did want to show you guys that one too. I'm working back to front in this book, so I use my Ohuhu water-based markers in this book, and I really enjoy them. So, where'd it go? There it is. Make a quick update here. So actually I had 22 pages this month. And 8 color by number. So yeah, overall, I'm really proud of the pictures I did this month. In the evenings tends to be where I really rack up the color by numbers, and in the evenings I've had to rest more this past month and not color, so most of my real creative stuff happens in the mornings and early afternoons, and I've had a little more time to do that this month, so it's nice. I don't think I've really felt like I've been able to do this since maybe January. So what's June gonna look like? I don't know. I do know like the last week and a half of the month I'm gonna be gone and probably not getting much coloring done, so it probably won't be as accomplished as this past month. However, there are some pages I'm already looking forward to doing. Hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I will be back on Sunday with the Alphabet Color 2022 GH color along kickoff. It's going to be a little late, sorry about that, and we'll pop through some examples of stuff to color in there for the month. Alright, thanks guys, and bye for now.